It begins like any ordinary day. After a violent storm tears through a quiet New England town, people step outside to inspect the damage, believing the worst has already passed. They couldn't have been more wrong. A thick white mist slowly rolls over the mountains. At first, it looks harmless.
Just another weather phenomenon. But within minutes, it swallows the roads, the houses, the trees. Even the sky itself disappears behind an endless wall of white. Inside a local supermarket, artist David Drayton shops with his young son, along with dozens of other residents. No one is worried. People complain about the storm, joke with each other, and continue filling their shopping carts. Then everything changes. The front doors burst open. A terrified man stumbles inside, covered in blood and struggling to breathe. His voice echoes across the store. Something's in the mist. Don't go out there. Silence fills the building. Some laugh. Others assume he's gone insane. But moments later, the screaming begins. People outside vanish without a trace. Shapes move behind the white fog. Massive shadows glide just beyond sight. No one can clearly see what they are. Only that anyone who steps outside never returns. Suddenly, the supermarket is no longer a place to shop. It has become a prison. As fear spreads through the crowd, a small group risks looking beyond the doors. What they discover is beyond imagination. Creatures unlike anything ever seen on Earth. Gigantic predators, grotesque insects, nightmarish monsters that seem to belong to another dimension entirely. Every sound attracts them. Every mistake can be fatal. And every trip outside could be your last. But as terrifying as the monsters are, they are not the greatest danger. Hours turn into days. Food begins to run low. Sleep becomes impossible. Hope slowly fades. Inside the supermarket, strangers are forced to live together under impossible circumstances. Friendships form. Trust disappears. Arguments become fights. Fear becomes paranoia. People who seemed kind only hours earlier begin revealing sides of themselves no one expected. Some believe reason will save them. Others surrender completely to panic. And some become convinced that only sacrifice can bring salvation. The monsters outside wait patiently. But inside, human nature begins to collapse. David's only concern is protecting his son. Every decision he makes could save lives.
Or destroy them. Should they stay where they are and hope someone comes? Or risk everything by stepping into a world consumed by the unknown? Every answer creates another impossible question. Every choice comes with consequences. And the deeper the mist grows, the darker the human heart becomes. That is what makes the mist so unforgettable. It isn't simply a monster story. It isn't just about survival. It's about what happens when civilization disappears overnight. When laws no longer matter. When fear replaces logic. When ordinary people are pushed beyond their limits.
Because sometimes the most terrifying creature isn't waiting outside. Sometimes it's hiding inside us all. As the story races toward its unforgettable conclusion, every ounce of hope begins to disappear. The characters are forced into choices no human being should ever have to make. Choices that will haunt them forever. And when the final moments arrive, you realize this was never just a horror story. It was a tragedy. A psychological nightmare. A chilling reminder that the greatest horrors are not always the monsters lurking in the darkness, but the impossible decisions we make when we believe there is no light left.
That is why The Mist remains one of Stephen King's most unforgettable stories. Not because of what hides inside the mist, but because of what the mist reveals about humanity itself.